play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest gamer you've ever heard. He's the angry Nintendo nerd. He's the angry Atari Sega nerd. He's the angry video game nerd.
The back of my mind, I know I should be getting to go to bed and start up the next day because it's pretty late. But yesterday, technically today, because in my mind the next day hasn't happened yet till I sleep and wake up, something important has happened. It's been 20 years since the Angry Video Game Nerd has made his first episode. It's the 20th anniversary of the Angry Video Game Nerd. And I know to many that means nothing, like what the fuck is the Angry Video Game Nerd, but to many other people, that's a big deal. I think when I think of the nerd, I think of creativity that James Rolfe has and everything that he's done, from the nerd to Board James to Monster Madness, even some of the smaller projects like the student films that he's made, and even the Cinematica podcast, even though it wasn't that popular. Things like that really got me thinking about how I wanted to do content creation differently in my space of YouTube. One thing that I've always looked towards James Rolfe is his creativity and how his acting skills are. I know he's not the best actor, but he's a lot better one than I ever could be without some intense practice. Just sometimes when he gets really into being the nerd, it really feels like he's a whole different person. Because when you look at James Rolfe, it's just this nice, almost charismatic guy. He loves his family. He loves doing what he loves to do. And it just really, he really inspires me to do things that I haven't done. Like before I made What the Fuck Marine, I never attempted scripting a video. I usually just like talking like this out of my ass to a camera for at least 5 or 10 minutes and then moving on for the most part. And then it got to the point where I wanted to try to make something like a nerd episode. And that was the original idea for What the Fuck Marine, was to be a successor to the Angry Video Game Nerd. And I never tried that first off. It wasn't like that when What the Fuck Marine started. But now What the Fuck Marine has turned into something really crazy, in my opinion. Though nowhere near as popular as the Angry Video Game Nerd. But here's the thing. I've seen other people try the nerd formula and get some interesting results. I think the first one that comes to mind from back in the day is JonTron. JonTron changed the reviewing space majorly. He was funny. He went into Game Grumps. Everything he did was high energy and just completely wacky. I remember Titanic and how funny that episode was. And when he would review a game that the nerd has done, like Wally Bear and the No Gang, he expanded upon it than the nerd ever would, and it just turns out the game is more ridiculous than even the nerd portrayed when JonTron did those reviews. Now, JonTron doesn't do video games reviews anymore, so who else do we got? Well, we have someone named Scott DeWaz now. And holy crap, he's a unit. He's done so much for charity. He has a overarching story that's from big episode to big episode. and stuff like that. But he doesn't just review one game all the time. Sometimes he talks about a topic about gaming and rants on about that in a scripted format. And it's just kind of crazy that we have all these successors thanks to the nerd. I know one smaller creator nailed the formula of the nerd successfully, is a guy named Free Nintendo, I think. I'll leave his channel in the description. He's a smaller channel, and he makes angry video game nerd like videos called The Good, The Bad, The Classics. And oddly enough, they feel like watching a classic nerd episode. And it's really jarring because it's like, this isn't James Rolfe, but he's nailed the feeling down to a T. And I wish I could get that close, but most of my reviews are modern games. And I don't think there's anything bad about that. I just think the way that The Good, The Bad, The Classics does it is really reminiscent to how the nerd does it. So overall, thanks to the nerd, we have so many people, even more excluding the ones already named, that has done these type of videos that James Rolfe has done. This whole genre of the angry review in like a more cinematic format. One thing I do want you to take away from all of this is he's been doing this for a long time. I know the nerd won't last forever, and I know the opinion of the nerd hasn't been overwhelmingly good, other than like the comment section and some of the videos. Even then, I see so much hate on the nerd because how different it is, or how they want Kyle Justin back, or how they want the theme song back. I know like there's genuine complaints and concerns, but I think the way that James is running the episodes now are just fine. I do like seasons like 8, 9, 10 through 13, even the classic ones from season 1 through 5. I think the nerds eras are important. They're different quality than another, and he's always improving, or maybe sometimes it's been a few steps back, but he always bounces back. That's one thing I've took inspiration from majorly. I know people criticize how he's done the nerd now with all the Screenwave stuff and that. I for one, I liked Kieran and Justin. I know that's like a holy hot take, but I liked them. I thought they were cool and funny. I actually like used to hang out in Kieran's streams all the time until he quit Cinemassacre, and I subbed to him on Twitch because he was the editor for Angry Video Game Nerd. So I felt like he was low-key carrying the show on his back somewhat, other than the writing and the acting and the camera work for some of it. He edited it, and I know how editing feels. I've edited my own videos, and that shit gets hard when there's bugs, and he edits on Adobe Premiere, and everyone knows the history of Adobe Premiere can be buggy. I haven't run into any issues now, but I saluted Kieran for helping James out, and so I saluted Justin as well. Now, without their help, nerd episodes are definitely coming out more slowly. The episodes feel really different than episodes with their help. I personally can't decide if I like it better, but I still overall enjoy the nerd, whether I think the episode is great or just a par. I still enjoy the nerd. I still enjoy watching him just talk about, rant about, get angry about all these ridiculous retro games or whatever. Every once in a while he does a modern game or a mobile game, whatever it is. I like it. It inspires me to keep going, and without the nerd, I don't know where I would be. I think overall we need to stop being so critical of the nerd and take the nostalgia glasses off and say, this is how the nerd is now. Yeah, it is different, but it still can be enjoyable. I think one thing that, if I had to say one thing I don't like about the nerd episodes now, is the mic quality. The mic just sounds funny to me. That's the only thing. And everything else is just fine for me. That's the only thing. The mic quality, when he's doing the voiceover work, something sounds off. But other than that, it's fine. I'm fine with it. I find it enjoyable. I found it fun to watch. And yeah. So overall, the way the nerd has impacted YouTube has been major. I know demonetization is kind of hard for James when it comes to the nerd. And I hope that doesn't discourage him from making more episodes of the nerd in the future anyways. So, to James, please keep the nerd going as long as you possibly can. I'm not begging you in any way. I'm just saying I enjoy this character. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to a lot of people. I hope one day I get to meet you and have a conversation with you about YouTube content creation. I was planning to go to Too Many Games to meet you one day. I hope I still get that chance. And yeah, please keep the nerd going. Don't be discouraged about any of the criticalness of people. I know you have a lot thicker skin than I do. And yeah. So, that's all I wanted to talk about. I see you Spartans on the next mission. Marineman out. Bye-bye.
He's gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass. He'd rather